The final stop on a 2-week, 13-game road trip is here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. The Reds get ready to tee it up against Tommy Lasorda's Dodgers in the first game of a 3-game series. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marty Brennaman, along with Joe Nuxhall and along with Johnny Bench. Johnny, this trip began a week ago Sunday. The Reds were 2 in front of Houston at the time. Now they come into game number 11 on this road trip. A game and a half in front. They've lost only a half a game to the lead.
Well, it really is something the way the Padres have played the Astros down there. In fact, the whole league is playing each other about even up to this point. We wanted a 9-4 or an 8-5 road trip after going into San Francisco, winning the first 2. Looked like we'd win last night as well, but it was a tough loss, and of course you never can control all of those things. Now you got to come in here against the Los Angeles Dodgers, who won 3 one-run victories over the Atlanta Braves, and that's a big plus for the Dodgers.
Joe, as far as pitching is concerned, Ted Power goes tonight. He's had almost unbelievable success against the Dodgers since leaving this organization, and has already come up with an impressive outing against them this season.
Well, all you have to do to Ted Power is mention Dodgers and your pitching, and he blows up like a big balloon. He just loves to beat his ex-team. He says nothing against him other than I like to beat him, and he's pitched very good. In fact, probably his best game as a major leaguer against the Dodgers in Riverfront, so hopefully he'll repeat it tonight.
Ted Power goes after win number 6 for the Dodgers, a left-hander, Rick Honeycutt. Stay with us. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the play-by-play action right after this. Well, in this year, 1987, they celebrate a quarter century of playing the grand old game in one of the real show places in Major League Baseball, Dodger Stadium. It was back on April the 10th, 1962. Interestingly enough, that they debuted this facility, and they were a loser to the Cincinnati Reds by a final score of 6-3. Tonight, the Reds, of course, come in to begin this series, a game and a half in front of the Houston Astros, and with 3 games to go on this road trip, they're 5-5 at the moment, and while the Reds are here, the Astronomicals are up at San Francisco taking on the Giants. L.A., as you can see, has taken the field. Johnny Bench is ready with the Reds batting order.
For the Cincinnati Reds, leading off tonight will be Cal Daniels in left field. He'll be followed by Tracy Jones in right field. And then it's Eric Davis, hit his 23rd home run last night and got 3 hits. Dave Parker bats 4th. He'll play first base. Buddy Bell, with the back problem, is in the lineup tonight. He'll bat 5th and play third base. Bo Diaz does the catching tonight, batting 6th. Kurt Stillwell, the switch hitter, at shortstop, bats 7th. Dave Concepcion plays tonight at third base. He'll bat 8th. And the pitcher, the former Dodger, Ted Power, goes against the Dodgers. Well, Davey is playing second base tonight, folks. And defensively for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Pedro Guerrero, John Shelby, and Mike Marshall in the outfield. Jeff Hamilton, Dave Anderson, Steve Sachs, Franklin Stubbs around the infield, Mike Scioscia behind the plate, and the left-hander on the mound tonight, Rick Honeycutt. Rick has pitched once against the Reds this year, got a no decision there. You see a record 2-6, 2.95 ERA. And in 73 innings, he's given up 73 hits and 28 base on balls, 62 strikeouts. That's kind of a high for Rick, and he credits a lot of it to his curveball that he has started this year, and some of that with the help of Sandy Koufax. So started well against the Reds in Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium, and then the Reds came back, scored, got him off the... In fact, they were down in that game. They came back, one of the many games at that period of time that the Reds were trailing, only to come back early in the game and win 6-run deficits. So you see Cal Daniels there going to home plate, and with the play-by-play, here's Marty.
Thanks very much, Johnny. Daniels batting .323 as this series starts. 16 home runs and 33 runs batted in. The Dodger fans get their first for real look at the Cincinnati Reds in '87, this being the first time the Reds have been in here. And we complete this road trip. The Reds will have been to every National League city. San Francisco and L.A. were the 2 that were the longest time in coming, but we're here tonight and set to play baseball. Honeycutt in with a pitch. Daniels a foul, and this game is underway. Indeed, it was back on June the 5th when the Dodgers built that 6-0 lead early over the Reds, and Bill Gullickson, Honeycutt, unhittable through 4 innings before a 5th-inning leadoff infield single by Buddy Bell. Everything was downhill after that as the Reds went on to win at 8-6. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
Marty, how has the transition been going as the left and right-handers, as far as Jones and Daniels both in the lineup? I did not see them in San Francisco.
They didn't fare very well at all last night. You know, Daniels has been saying all year long, I can hit left-handers. I want to play every day. Tracy, a bit more subtle, if that's possible for Tracy Jones. He says he can hit right-handers. They didn't hit the way that they felt like they could last night. Basically, it has worked. I think it's been everything Pete has expected it would be. Dave Parker, of course, a guy with a tougher job, and that's learning how to play first base. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you want to give us a rating on his play so far at first?
I'd say his rating has been a B+ so far.
Great.
Last night, an infield single by Will Clark in the first inning, a ball that Oster made a fine play on going off to his left. Came up throwing. Parker wasn't on the bag. He had the best seat in the house. But that's been a rarity. And there's a fine defensive play by third baseman Jeff Hamilton. That would have been an interesting play, I think, and Hamilton not come up with a baseball because Anderson was headed toward the hole, and Daniels can get down the line.
I don't think it would have been too interesting, as you can see the little check swing, and now he can almost smell the hit there. You see Daniels leaving in a hurry, and this is a good stretch by this. This ball would have bounced and actually might have gotten in the left field. Sometimes that spin on the ball might have shot it towards the line. That would have really made it interesting.
So a fine defensive play by the youngster Hamilton at third for the Dodgers to get us started, and here's Tracy Jones. This guy is as high as a kite tonight because he did not play before the home folks the entire season last year due to the injury factor, and I think he says he's got about 20 passes on the list, but he said somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 people. He said the other 50, they can afford to pay their way in. But he was eating, he was drinking liquid in the clubhouse, he was as nervous as a cat. He has to put his act on display for real for the first time here in his home territory. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's a long-tailed cat in one of them room full of rocking chairs.
Yes, sir, you got it. That is exactly the way I think you could adequately describe Tracy Jones tonight. Hitting .339 as he waits on the left-hander Honeycutt's 1-1. Here it comes. 2 balls and a strike. The plate umpire, John McSherry, at first base. A vacation umpire has joined his crew, Larry Poncino. At second, Fred Brocklander, and at third, Billy Williams. Honeycutt taking his time. Jones never leaving that batter's box. And he stung that one pretty well. Shelby going back. He's looking up. And it's out of here. A pretty decent way to break in before the home crowd, so to speak, as Tracy Jones jumped all over Honeycutt's 2-1 offering and slammed it out of here to deep left center field. Home run number 9 for Jones. The Reds take a 1-0 lead, and Tracy Jones, this bud's for you.
Why not? When you feel comfortable, you had your mom's gravy. One of his mom cooks that home run gravy. Tell you what, he knew he got it all. John Shelby making an effort, but then he has to short slip himself out to the wall, and boy, he hit that one hard, and the ball does not carry here in Dodger Stadium, so you know he crushed it.
That is only the 4th home run that Rick Honeycutt has allowed in 73 2/3 innings all year. Johnny Bench mentioned what a hot hitter this guy is. As you take a look at Tracy discussing it with outfield colleague Paul O'Neill in the dugout. 6 hits in the last 2 games, 8 hits over the last 4 for Davis. 1 ball, 1 strike. So he is back on track again as he's jumped his batting average up to .319, and he is again among the top 10 in the National League in that department. Tied for leadership in home runs, tied for second in runs batted in.
Might as well have another homecoming here.
Might as well. Will go to second. Well, Hamilton was really at Eric Davis's mercy on that ball because of the high chop. He knew he had to get rid of it in a hurry, and he did, but threw in the dirt, and that'll be a throwing error.
Well, the young infielder with a cannon for an arm, he has to watch it come down, and then all of a sudden he has to pump, and then he looks up and see where Eric is, and Eric's way down there. I'll tell you, that's a hard pickup for Franklin Stubbs. He really had no chance with a short hop. And here we go with the opportunity to get another run early off of Honeycutt and extend this lead. The one thing you really worry about doing is get behind the Dodgers when they score first. They're 22-13, so Parker could add to this.
This copyrighted telecast comes to you through the courtesy of Multimedia Broadcasting, authorized under television rights granted by the Cincinnati Reds, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds is prohibited. Now the Dodger lefty has been rocked for a long Tracy Jones home run. The great speed of Eric Davis results in a two-base throwing error by Jeff Hamilton at third. And now Parker batting .281. We'll see what he can do about making it a two-run first inning. Strike to him at the knees. Davis with 29 stolen bases. He's been caught only 3 times. In fact, was caught in San Francisco day before yesterday on a pitch out. Bob Brenly got him. And he will steal third. Anderson trying to keep him close to the bag at second. Eric edging a little bit further off the bag, and the throw not in time.
Good timing play, a daylight play there, and Anderson backed off. And when Anderson backed off, Eric took that extra little step. And when he took the extra step, then Anderson broke. And of course, Honeycutt and the Dodgers all schooled in the daylight play, and they love to have those two, especially this combination with Anderson and Sachs, because they love to jockey behind second.
Parker down a strike. Second on the club in RBIs, 51. Second in home runs, 17, and batting .281. One ball, one strike.
Dave Parker, 17 home runs, 51 RBIs, only 13th in the voting balloting for the All-Star game at this point, and you wonder what kind of effect it will have by him moving to first base, how much it will affect or hurt his chances to make the outfield. There's been some years already by some outfielders with Dawson and of course Strawberry being chosen. There's some big numbers throughout the league for outfielders, and of course with Eric Davis leading the voting, well, you never know who would take. Would Dave Johnson considering taking more than one red in the outfield?
One ball, one strike. Well, they got under that one a boatload, and that's center fielder John Shelby shallow, and they're 2 men out. You know, a lot of times a player will change positions after being listed at another spot on an all-star ballot, and it won't affect him all that much. But of course, there was so much publicity surrounding Parker's move from right field to first base. As far as the voting is concerned, it has to hurt.
Well, it really does, and I know that certain players also have clauses, bonus clauses for making all-star teams. So I don't know what Dave's particular contract is, but at the same time, say he were involved in that kind of situation, then it might have some effect.
Very well might have, if he should have something like that. Here's Buddy Bell.
Maybe you could ask Dave later.
That's a good idea. I might do that. Run is in, 2 out. Davis still at second. Bell, as Johnny mentioned, a slight back problem, and after he and Pete discussed it before the game last night with the conditions as they were at Candlestick Park, and it was very chilly and very windy, they elected to let Buddy sit down, and even at that he came in the 9th inning as part of a double switch.
Well, he says he's got some tingling down his legs. Must be a nerve problem is what he's saying. He's on the old butte. That'll hop him up a little bit.
Hit it hard. Davis, as Guerrero comes in to make the pickup, you can forget that throw. The Reds lead 2-0. Bell going to second. He's there. Big 2-out base hit by Buddy Bell, and the Reds have scored twice in the inning as their veteran third baseman has just banged in his 29th of the year.
Well, the big mistake here, of course, is for Pedro Guerrero. It's a good breaking ball down over the plate, though. Buddy lines it in there. He's been swinging the bat well. Now, Pedro right here. Now, this is where Eric is. You can forget it, but look at the height of this. Look where the cutoff man was, the third baseman, all the way in the air, and just the veteran Buddy Bell taking advantage of it. When you see the ball being thrown over the cutoff man, you just automatically head towards second, and that's just a free base, and that takes you out of any kind of situation, puts another man up there for scoring.
Eric Davis just crosses the plate for the 64th time. He is, of course, the league leader in that department, 4 better now than Atlanta's Dale Murphy. Hamilton on the short bounce, and the first inning is over, but a good beginning for Pete Rose's ball club. The Reds collect 2 runs on as many hits, 1 Dodger error, and 1 left on after a half inning of play in the Little Lifter at Dodger Stadium. Reds 2 and Los Angeles coming up.
The Dodgers, the hot-hitting Dave Anderson leads off playing shortstop. Batting second, Steve Sachs. He's at second base. Batting third, John Shelby, already with 8 home runs. He's in center field. Pedro Guerrero came out of a small slump last night. He'll bat fourth and play left field. Mike Marshall in right field bats fifth. Franklin Stubb back sixth, and he'll play first base. Mike Scioscia is the catcher. He'll bat seventh. Jeff Hamilton, the young third baseman, bats eighth for the Dodgers, and pitching Rick Honeycutt. He'll bat ninth. Well, that's still not the picture of Rick Honeycutt. That's the one we had up last time that we were in.
Brian Holton.
That's Brian Holton. That's the last time we had. There you see Daniels, Davis, Jones in the outfield, Bell, Stillwell, Concepcion, Parker. Diaz behind the plate, and Ted Power with a lifetime record of 5-1 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is his 4th attempt at winning his 6th ball game. The Reds have won 10 out of the 15 games he started.
Dave Anderson, first pitch hitting, and a pop that Concepcion will handle out on the edge of the outfield grass. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Dave Anderson has taken over at shortstop after Mariano Duncan had had such a bad time and was in a severe slump. And I tell you, Anderson has finally responded the way they've really wanted him to.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting, Johnny, and a lot of people in this organization make no bones about the fact they want a deal for a shortstop. They feel like Anderson is a short-term answer, and it's amazing how quick a player, in this case Mariano Duncan, can fall out of favor because they don't feel like he's the guy anymore.
I wonder where they're looking. They wouldn't look at our ball club, would they?
Somebody mentioned a couple of guys on our club to me today, as a matter of fact.
Well, that is an interesting situation, though, what is happening with our shortstops.
Very interesting. Here's Steve Sachs. Last time we saw this club, he was batting leadoff. Anderson, of course, swinging a hot bat. And Lasorda putting Dave in that #1 spot and dropping Steve down to the 2nd position. Power quickly out ahead. Tell you what, he may go out tonight and not last 4 innings, but the one thing that was said earlier this evening, like Joe said, you show him Dodger blue and Ted Power lights up like a Christmas tree.
Boy, he hit it right on the nose. Joe was absolutely right.
Stillwell. Big stretch by Parker, and he came off the bag.
That's what I was afraid of. Dave sometimes really goes out. That's his only mistake I've seen up to this point in the games that I saw him in Atlanta, is he goes out too quick and he really kind of lets the ball play him. Now you'll see him right here. He does not have to stretch quite this much, and he goes out so quick that, see, when he goes out, he absolutely lets the ball play him, and he has to go out and get it. It looks like he's trying to stretch to get back, and, well, Larry Poncino right on top of that, and I guess he had to see that one pretty clearly. Let's see if from this angle he went out too quick, and if he probably hadn't tried to go back to the bag, he might have been all right.
So Sachs aboard. Here's John Shelby.
Now, Marty, we'll look at that again if we get a chance, and not whether he's out or safe. The idea from that high first camera was that we saw him go out, and immediately if the ball is offline, then he has to stretch out and becomes awkward.
They charged the error on the throw by Kurt Stillwell.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. That's a very bad scoring decision.
All right, now what? See, he's already stepped straight towards Stillwell, and now the ball over to the left, he has to reach out for. All he has to do is step over to the left. If he had his foot over a foot from where it should be, then it's just a simple play.
So charge the error on Stillwell, one he certainly is most undeserving of, as opposed to the ones 4 in the 3-game series completed yesterday in San Francisco.
I put down E3, but it's my book. It doesn't go official.
You can put
E9 if I want to.
Absolutely, you can. Put home run if you want to, just don't score it. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Shelby. This young man, since coming over from Baltimore in the Tom Niedenfuhr trade, has played every inning of every game. And despite the fact he's hitting only .246, the Dodgers have been very pleased. He has provided them with some unexpected power, having hit 8 home runs already, and his defense has been more than adequate in center field, which has been a problem spot for a few years now with his club. Daniels should get to it, and he does for the 2nd out. Sachs retreats to first.
Well, that's good scouting right there. That's why Cal Daniels is shading him down the line. He's able to be over there and really make the play rather easily. And that's what scouts are for. They get her ahead of time. They check out. They pattern where everyone is hitting the ball. And in this case, you saw Cal Daniels in the right place. And you got to pitch him that way, too, if you're going to play him that way.
So with 2 down, runner at first in, and the Reds leading 2-0 in the first. Here's Pete Guerrero. You saw his batting average has been dropping somewhat of late. They say he is starting to swing up on the ball rather than the good stroke that he had almost from day one of the season when he was batting over 350, around 360. But in the last day or so now, he's started to come back a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good slider there. And of course, we talked about Anderson being in the lineup, and Duncan was spiked by Billy Doran, and a slide and a play at second base and an attempted steal, and he had to go to the hospital. In fact, they carried him off on a stretcher, and they gave him 3 stitches, and today those stitches were taken out.
Sachs, the top base stealer on the Dodger club, 17 of them. Power checking him. While we're talking about Sachs and Duncan, there's been talk of moving one of them to the outfield. Duncan, of course, with great speed. Well, Ted just challenged Guerrero upstairs with that fastball and jumps in front.
Good fastball. Good fastball upstairs. The Dodgers of late have been signing some of the older veterans. Phil Garner came over, and Danny Heap was just acquired by the Dodgers. And as a result, Billy Russell now taking batting practice.
Oh, look out.
He said, they're signing all the old guys. I might as well stay in shape.
Can't blame him. Tracy Jones measures that fly ball, and the Dodgers are done in their half of the first inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error. They leave a runner. And at the end of 1 complete, Cincinnati with the early 2-0 lead. Back at Dodger Stadium, and I guess you'd say a small fraction of the Reds support that's on hand here tonight. They normally have pretty good rooting section anytime they come to Los Angeles, and I'm sure as you take a look at some of the folks who have come out to see the ball game, they're not anywhere near a full house here. And even though the Dodgers are second in the National League in attendance, which is cause, I'm sure, for concern by the Dodger organization, the Cardinals have gone by them in total home attendance on the season. And normally you can go to the bank over the fact that the Dodgers year in and year out are going to be the #1 club in the league attendance-wise. But right now, that's not the case.
Well, they cut out the vanilla ice cream in the lunchroom.
You know, I forgot about that.
Yes, they did. And it's a cost-cutting measure.
That's probably the reason.
Oh, but isn't that beautiful?
It is,
Chavez Ravine.
without question, a baseball park. They don't use this thing for anything but baseball. They'll have a boat show once a year. They tried some rock concerts a number of years ago, and so much damage was done to the turf, they shut that off. Here's Stillwell leading off the second, a foul ball.
I bet as pretty as Chapel Hill.
It'd be close. It'd be close. Not quite, but close. Well, that shortstop position has been this kid's for a while now. Despite the shaky defense, he's come up with some key hits, and most of his problems have been on throws as far as the defensive end of it is concerned. He too playing before folks and a lot of friends here from nearby Thousand Oaks, a town made famous as one being the training camp of the Dallas Cowboys, and 2, the home of one George Sparky Anderson. Not necessarily in that order.
Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
The Expos beat the Cards this afternoon 5-1. The Phillies defeated the Mets 5-2. And the Pirates drubbing the Cubs 5-2. That's in the 9th. So the 3 teams atop the National League East, except for the Expos. The Expos right in there. They pick up a game on the Cards. It's quite a race over there.
Sure is. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We'll pause 5 seconds for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds television network.
You're watching the Indiana Sports Station, WTTB, Channel 4.
2-2 pitch from Honeycutt to Stillwell, and Rick picks up his first strikeout.
Good pitching there. He was really working the corners early after Tracy Jones hit the home run. Mike Socia out to talk to the left-hander, and something was wrong mechanically. Either was throwing the ball too hard, trying to throw the ball too hard, working on things. You see Davey giving a little happy click of the bat to Socia's shin guards, hoping that he doesn't have to run into them later on. But Davey well liked, and of course he's been around longer than most of these people.
Ball to him. He would not be in a small fraternity over his dislike or wanting to avoid the shin guards of Mike Socia.
Well, only Tom Browning really has done any damage to Mike Socia.
That's true.
And that's amazing as for the pitcher. But Socia had already blocked 4 runs from scoring in the first month and a half of the season. And I tell you, you don't find too many people that block the plate better than Mike Socia. Seems like it's a tradition with the Dodgers. Yeager loved it.
Yep.
Socia, of course, is in the same mold, and he may be a little thicker, but they have these big, huge calves and these big thighs. And they're just like tree trunks when they stand out there, and you're able to grip that clay out there with your cleats.
Davey trying to work a walk here from Honeycutt as the count goes to 3 balls and a strike.
Marty, in the paper in Cincinnati, the talk was that one of these shortstops that we have will have to become a second baseman. Now, they've tried Stillwell in South America,
right?
Not with a great deal of success. And I guess Barry, I don't know how his outlook is on.
As you look at him in the dugout, seated beside Nicky Saski and Guy Hoffman, will be the Sunday pitcher. That's got enough on it. Nice play by Sachs. Got it. Davey will argue with Larry Poncino. It looked like a bang-bang play, but Steve Sachs just took one away from Davey Concepcion. He's disgruntled. Tony trying to keep him from being thrown out, and here comes Pete.
If he doesn't jump, Marty, he might have a chance.
Davey away from the scene and in the dugout as we take a look at it again.
Well, it was just a good effort by Steve Sachs. You see Davey right there not running hard. It would have been an easy base hit. He just taken off out of the box with that. That goes to the runner as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. Davey apparently has reason to be upset, but I got to go with what Johnny said. Davey historically will concede the fact that he's got a base hit when many times he doesn't. And had he been running hard, it wouldn't have been any contest at first base.
Too close for me to call him out.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ted Power. And despite the fact Honeycutt trails by 2 runs, he can thank his defense for not being in any worse shape than he is at the moment. A good play by Hamilton, which erased what would have been another first inning run, because if Daniels gets on, Jones's home run becomes a 2-run homer. And now a fine play by Sachs to take a base hit away from Concepcion. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reds will start through their batting order for the second time after Ted Power, whether it be here in the second or as a leadoff batter in the third. That's Cal Daniels.
I think they ought to throw him the curveball. He had such a weak swing at those other ones.
Thank you very much. Strike 3 call, and that's the inning. So a perfect second. With a little help from his pal Steve Sachs at second, Honeycutt heads toward the Dodger dugout, and at the end of 1.5 innings, the Reds 2 and the Dodgers nothing.
Reds lead it 2-0 over the Dodgers here in the bottom of the second inning, and they're going to salute those farmers again. That's what the Reds are going to do. Saturday, July the 11th against the Expos at 7:05. Prizes will be given away thanks to Kroger Dairy, Snapper, TWA, and the Omni Netherland Plaza. It's great fun for the whole family with plenty of pregame activities like that old milking, cow milking, and egg tossing and all that. So be sure to join us for our salute to the agricultural industry. Farmers Night on Saturday. That's July the 11th.
Now Ted Power getting through the Dodgers in the first inning without any undue problems, although the 1 base runner Sachs reached on the Stillwell throwing error. So Mike Marshall starts off the second, the possessor of a 10-game hitting streak. and swinging the bat better right now than he has all year long. Mike was quoted as saying yesterday or a couple of days ago he feels like he can help this ball club more by becoming a more disciplined hitter rather than going up there and wailing away and trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. His theory apparently is working because he's batting .310 at the moment.
At one point, though, in his career, I believe it was last year, he had 17 home runs before he got hurt, which was leading the league. When you're leading the league, you want to keep whaling. When you only got 8 home runs and there's 2 guys with 23, you know you can't catch him. You better start doing something different.
Find something else to do.
Exactly.
2 balls and a strike. Now 2 of his 8 home runs have come against the Reds in the series played, about 3 weeks, a month ago at Riverfront Stadium. 2-2 on the foul back. Following Mike Marshall, first baseman Franklin Stubbs. Another power threat in the Dodger lineup. First strikeout for Ted Powers. Johnny's throwing his pitches over for strikes, and his location here in the first inning and a third has been outstanding.
Marty, he is rearing back. We saw him challenge Guerrero with a fastball upstairs. What the most important thing is that good slider, which is helping it. Well, that is good control right there. He burned the outside corner. Good follow through. You saw his balance the way he finished up. One-on-one, you challenge, and when you feel like that, I tell you what, you just go from there. But the adrenaline is pumping for the Guthrie, Oklahoma native.
Now Franklin Stubbs. We mentioned power, 11 home runs with 35 RBIs. Well, Powers had 3 poor starts in a row, and naturally it's of some concern when the 2 big guys in your rotation are those who are supposed to be, Gullickson and Power, are having a tough time of it. Let's see who can get to it. Look out. You don't want to be in Tracy Jones's path.
And Davey well aware of that, but he has to go as far as he can. He cannot tell if Tracy Jones has slipped or misjudged the fly ball. So Davey immediately has to go back. Now he's listening all this time. Somebody holler, somebody holler. Oh, they hollered.
2 away, nobody on base. Here's catcher Mike Scioscia, talking about him and his defensive prowess earlier. But Gullickson and Power have had problems of late. Well, the pendulum seems to have swung, at least for the moment, in favor of Ron Robinson, who pitches tomorrow night, and Guy Hoffman, the left-hander, who will go on Sunday. They've had good outings twice in a row now, and Gullickson and Power trying to regain the magic, and Ted throwing well here in the first couple of innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Missing just off the outside corner. Strike call, 2-2. Reds come in 8 over 500 after last night's tough 1-run defeat at San Francisco. They're 40-32. We mentioned a game and a half up on Houston. The Dodgers 3 wins in a row, still 5 under. Base hit right field for Mike Scioscia.
The Dodgers has not been swinging the bat well. Last night, though, they came out of it a little bit against the Braves. And you see Mike at first, and he was really rushing. He was about 2 for 24 going into last night's game. Picked up a couple of hits, and well, defensively he's as good as they've had throughout the last decade. And hitting-wise, he seems to always hit well against the Reds, and he hits especially well against Mario Soto in the past.
Inning continues as the third baseman, Jeff Hamilton, steps in. Back-to-back base hits.
Well, somebody in the dugout told the guys coming up that he's just challenged him with fastballs and hard stuff at this moment. Why not go up there and start swinging at the first pitch? That's exactly what Jeff Hamilton did. And And these two young Dodgers on the left side of the infield, Dave Anderson and Jeff Hamilton, have been told to be more aggressive. It's really paid off for Anderson. And there Hamilton just swinging at the first fastball, and he got it right up over the plate. And it's always tough when you don't know a hitter, and Ted Power has never seen Jeff Hamilton.
So here's pitcher Rick Honeycutt, trailing 2-0 in the second. He has seen Socha and Hamilton come up with back-to-back two-out singles, and Rick with 4 hits on the year and a couple of runs batted in trying to help himself. This is a very big series for the Dodgers. They are 6.5 games behind Cincinnati at the moment, and an important series, let's face it, for the Reds, because they want to go home in first place as they started this road trip off a week ago Monday. Johnny and I've talked earlier tonight the fact they were 2 in front. They have played 500 baseball on this trip, yet they have lost only a half a game to that lead. 1.5 in front of Houston. 2 balls and no strikes.
Ted must have at some time in his career faced Honeycutt. Of course, he did his last time out when they played each other in Cincinnati, and looks like he's a little hesitant to give Rick too much to hit. He's a good contact here, hitting 182 at 4 hits. That's not bad for a pitcher this early in the season.
Tying runs are on for Los Angeles. Bottom third of that batting order, trying to get something going here with 2 out. Powers 2-1 pitch. Stillwell with a short route to Davey Concepcion, and the first Dodger threat goes down the drain. No runs, a couple of hits, and as many left on. We'll roll into the 3rd inning with the Reds in front 2-0. With Johnny Bench, Marty Brennaman back at Dodger Stadium. We go to round number 3, and the Reds will have the top of their order coming up against Rick Honeycutt, who was rocked for a couple of runs in the first inning. Right there, the meeting between pupil and teacher. The pupil, Ted Power, and the teacher, pitching coach Scott Breeden.
Look at the sweat pouring off of him, Marty, and it is not a warm evening up here. We are, in fact, jackets very advisable. People in the stands, long sleeve shirts and sweaters. That tells you how intense he is and how hard he's trying to chew that gum. How about this, Marty? Jerry Royce 2-0 for the California Angels. Gave up only 1 hit in 6 innings, 6 hits in 8 1/3 innings, and they brought in the Moon Man, Greg Minton, who they got from San Francisco, and he got his 3rd save. He came back, and they've got back-to-back saves. The first time they really had that happen almost all year.
Since May the 7th. Well, the Angels have become a team of resurrection, I guess you could say. You take Jerry Royce and, of course, now Greg Minton, 2 guys who certainly weren't doing the jobs that they are doing now with their previous clubs. The Reds, of course, giving Royce a great shot after he gained his release early in April from the Dodgers, and Minton was the forgotten man in the Giants bullpen, and they're hoping he can do for them what he did a few years ago for San Francisco. Daniels robbed in the first inning on that diving catch by Jeff Hamilton of a soft line drive. Strike.
Giving a little bit of ground on that big roundhouse curveball.
Well, you can't blame him, can you?
No, I really can't. And it's amazing how much bigger curveballs are from left-handers. Now, often they do throw the big roundhouse curveball as opposed to the right-handers. But it has to do, of course, with the spin of the earth.
It does?
Sure, they're throwing against centrifugal, and they're throwing against the other way. You didn't... I thought you knew that.
No.
I wasn't trying to slide something in on you.
No, I didn't know that. 2-2.
Well, the earth spins one way, you know. So right-handers curveball actually going with that spin will not break as much as left-handers throwing from the other side, throwing against the force of the spin, which causes a bigger break.
I got your spin. The spin. I got you. I understand what you're saying.
I cannot believe you are not into scientific.
I'm sorry. I didn't do well at all in college in that subject. Daniels 0 for 2, and now here's the run producer in the first inning, a long home run to left center by Tracy Jones. He has now hit 9 and has knocked in 28 runs. 3-0 Reds, top of the third. Tracy said, I might be a little bit more psyched up than normal tonight. He said, that's not possible. That's impossible. He just got underneath that one. Guerrero makes the catch for the second out.
He is aggressive at the plate, though. That's the one thing about it. Nobody's going to run or hustle more than Tracy. Everybody has a different level of playing, some with intensity. Although it's the same intensity, it just comes out differently. Pete Rose used to run to first base and head first slide, and other guys used to go out to their position. It was just their tempo, and there's nothing different about them. They don't play any less aggressive or love the game less. It's just that some people are wound a little tighter.
Davis reaching on the error by Hamilton in the first, scored a run. Boy, he hit a public relations home run last night at Candlestick Park, I'll tell you. And a rocket back through the middle.
He hit a what in Candlestick? I missed that.
A public relations home run last night. I mean, that PR job, that's the guy you want to talk about and admire and discuss. It was something. Well, you see the top slugging leaders in the National League, and Eric the Red is sitting right there at the top, but teammate Cal Daniels running fourth in the league. All those guys having good years. Make no mistake about that.
Well, the Dodgers have really been treated this particular week, having Dale Murphy come in here and take over the league leadership with his 23rd home run. And, of course, last night Eric's home run tied that, and here they come in tonight and get to see Eric back-to-back, two of the fine young players in all of the National League.
Parker, a fly ball center in the first. There he goes. Scioscia's throw. Number 30 for Davis. I tell you, it didn't look like he got a real good jump on Rick Honeycutt.
And he almost got thrown out. Scioscia really charging out of there. This ball bounces just a little bit, and he has to drop it down on his leg. And there you see a good slide by Eric Davis. Just a little hop, and then he has to lay it down. But, you know, you got to be that perfect. 6 inches more, and it may be right on his leg and on his shin, and he doesn't have to put it. But that's how difficult it is to throw Eric Davis out.
It now means another run. Parker down a strike. Honeycutt, a native of Tennessee, went to the University of Tennessee, played with the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers, and of course came from that club to the Dodgers a few years back. Former American League ERA title holder, and of course ranked among the tops in the National League in that department again this season, despite the bad record.
Yeah, we don't want to forget our people, friends in Georgia, who are picking us up a little bit, some way out of that satellite, or however. Rick went to Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, in high school, and was a quarterback and a first baseman and pitcher, and then went back to the Vols, the Orange.
Big Orange country.
Yeah.
Steps back in after Honeycutt bluffed the throw back towards second. Playing Parker, the Dodger defense is a dead pull hitter. In fact, Dave Anderson only a few steps away from playing Parker dead up the middle. Two balls and two strikes. Let's take a look at the Dodger defense, and you can see how they're playing him. Hamilton pulled way off the line. See where Anderson, the shortstop, is? Sacks about equidistant between first and second, and Stubbs very deep in guarding the line at first. The outfield swung around toward right and deep. The Reds 2, the Dodgers nothing. We're in the top half of the third. Davis single with 2 outs, stole second. That's where we're at as Parker waits to take a look at Rick Honeycutt's 2-2 pitch. Strikeout number 3 for the Dodger left-hander as he rings partner up for the first time tonight. No runs, a hit, 1 left. 2.5 innings are in the books. First of 3 in L.A., and the Reds lead by a deuce. 2-0 Cincinnati. Bottom half of the third about to unfold in Los Angeles. And Dave Anderson. Dave Sachs is Steve's brother. He last was seen in Boston. Anderson, the leadoff batter. Strike call. Product of Memphis State University. Born in Louisville, Kentucky, Dave Anderson. 1 ball and a strike to him. Dodgers have tried him at a number of positions, and it wasn't very long ago, maybe 4 seasons, that they were touting Anderson as the heir apparent to Billy Russell. Here we go on a replay, but this time Davey gives it away a little bit earlier than he did on the previous fly ball to Jones. Tracy getting quite a bit of work in right field here in the early innings.
Just the indication there's a good fastball. And of course, speaking of good fastballs, one left-hander used to have one of those. You see on the left of your screen there, and the old, well, it looks like a Blue Jacket. It's green. The last time he left here, he got the reversible on. Yeah?
It might be. You know, I never thought about that.
He does switch in there. They do look alike.
He'll be over here with Johnny when we go to the 4th. Now it's Steve Sachs and a ball. On through a throwing error by Stillwell that did not stand as a very popular scoring decision from we two here in the television booth. Three balls and no strikes.
Sometimes he gets so anxious.
And Sachs walks on 4 straight.
Marty, I want to say hello to a special listener of ours. I think she's down in Kentucky. And Mrs. Sidney Johnson. Her oldest son, Lou, came by a little bit ago, and he was looking for the scar he put on my right hand when he slid home, trying to steal home.
That'd be it right there.
That's it right there. He came in still laughing about it. Yeah, Lou Johnson, great Dodger player for many years. His mother lives down there, and he said she's listening and to say hello. He's looking good.
Sure is.
Tell you what, somebody's picking his clothes out for him.
He's styling tonight. I'm telling you, he was clean. Mom down in Lexington, Kentucky. Rarely is there a trip that goes by when the Reds are into Dodger Stadium that Lou doesn't come by and just ask us to pass along word to his mom down there and bluegrass country that he's doing well, and he's sure looking well. This is John Shelby back for an encore as the count evens at ball 1, strike 1. He flied out to Cal Daniels in the first inning. Patano flashing the signs from down in the Dodger third base coaching box. He, of course, was John McNamara's third base coach for a while when Mac was manager of the Reds. And Manny Mota, outstanding hitter in his time. Shelby starts and did not go.
Yeah, speaking of Manny Mota, he just got a nice little present, you might say. His son was traded back to the Dodger organization for, I believe it was Larry C. And so I think Manny's comment was, I like him as a player and I like him as a son.
That touches them all, I think. That covers all the pertinent areas. Full count. Dodgers also signed Ramon Guerrero, who is the 18-year-old brother of Pedro Guerrero. They're going to have him in the Dominican Summer League. Down 2. Let's see if Sachs is going to be moving. He is, and the payoff pitch is headed towards shallow left center.
That's
Davis
trouble.
long-legging it with Daniels.
He
and
caught it.
drops.
He caught it.
Well, they got a force play at second. Now the throw, and now they've got runners hung up. What's going on here? That's a double play.
Marty, I still think it's a fly ball. I think the ball was caught, and I think it should be a force play at first. I may be wrong.
Well, he apparently did not catch it, and they get a double play out of it. Nevertheless, as we look at it again.
When Kurt Stillwell breaks to second base, it eliminates that side. You can see the open space there in the bottom of your screen. Well, it looked like he hit his arm or hit his back, but from that point of view, it looks like it did. Well, what are you going to do?
A bizarre double play to end the third inning, and after 1/3 of the action, as you watch Parker run towards Shelby, it is the Reds 2 and the Dodgers nothing. Joe will be along to join Johnny Bench. Stay with me.
Reds lead it 2-0 on 2 first-inning runs. A home run by Tracy Jones and an RBI single by Buddy Bell. And a real turn of events. But first of all, Ted Power really throwing the ball well tonight.
Throwing very good, John. And the difference between tonight and Atlanta is breaking balls once again. He's getting them over consistently this evening.
Good slider, Joe. Let's look at that last play to end the inning. And it was a strange play, needless to say.
Well, we had one in in San Francisco. You see the ball hit off, looked like Cal's wrist, and Eric alertly throwing to Davey, and Davey holding on the ball. Now he throws over there. Now we're looking at John Shelby. Oh, wait a minute, John, that's the first base line. You're supposed to look, you're going to get the run down here. How about that?
I wish we'd had a picture of Tommy Lasorda right after that. So we go into the top of the 4th inning with the Reds leading at 2-0. Buddy Bell with an RBI single, his first time at bat in the first inning, leads it off against Honeycutt, hitting into 275 with a base hit.
Oh, Tommy's he's mad already. He's telling McSherry to bear down on it. Ooh, violent.
Okay.
I don't think the play at the end of the inning had anything to do with his temperament right there, do you?
For the hearing impaired, I'm not sure.
Okay. Take it easy, Tom.
Well, the bad boy thinks it's amusing anyway. A ball and a strike now as Honeycutt works inside, misses 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, he has not been too excited about this ball club. Defensively, they've made a lot of mistakes, and then there you see a chance. And, of course, for Steve Sachs, he didn't know exactly what to do because from that angle, it looked like he could have hit off of Cal Daniels' glove. Ball grounded back up the middle. Big high bounce right past Dave Anderson into the center field, and 2 hits on the night for Buddy Bell.
It's kind of interesting here, John. Watch now. It was right by the glove, and it looked like Honeycutt might have tipped it, but you know the ball that Eric hit in the 3rd inning. Of course, I don't think anybody could react to that when it was glove high right there. But when he reached for it, it was hitting on the grass in center field.
And he went at that point.
Thank goodness it was over there.
Here's Bo. Bo for 1 on the evening, or ground out. Now with a chance of advancing Buddy and see if anything is on. Pete might try to hit and run here. Let Bo hit away. Bo at 266 on the year. The outfield straight away, as is the infield. And a ball in the dirt. Bounces, and John McSherry will have to look at it. Red clay all around the batter's box and home plate. Every ball that is in the dirt will be checked, and 99% of them will be thrown out of it. There you see right there the red area right in the middle at home plate and circular area, Joe, and they've tried to harden that up in front of it because last night against the Braves, a couple of guys fell going out of the batter's box towards first. It's real soft dirt. In fact, it's a different composition.
I think I remember Sparky doing that at Riverfront, didn't he?
Sparky tried everything. Bell with the lead and a pickoff attempt. Not nearly in time. Jerry Royce, we talked about him. There you see it. That's a little brighter red. That's red clay around there, composition of. It's a good batter's box. It's a great batter's box to hit out of. But that little brown stuff right in front of it, right in front of where the batter's box is what we're talking about. And Jerry Royce wins again this afternoon, Joe.
He did?
Gave up 6 hits in 8 2/3 inning. Had a 1-hitter in the 6th inning. He wins it 3-1.
What's that tell us?
Well, either that league hadn't seen him before, or we gave up too quick.
He didn't get in gear over here. One of the two then.
Well, he figured he didn't have many more chances. Carlton was the loser this afternoon in a game that he pitched as Oakland beat the Cleveland Indians. Ball grounded towards Sachs. High chopper. He'll have time to get Buddy Bell, and that's all. With a high, slow chopper, Bo able to get down there, and he got down there with a little bit of a limp, as you can see him still limping a little bit. So the Reds keep a runner at first base.
Well, here's a look at it. Bo going the opposite way, as you can see. The pitch away from him, and Sachs making the pivot and throwing back to Anderson to force Buddy. And Buddy, of course, breaking up Anderson's thought of a double play by undercutting him just a bit.
Kurt Stillwell struck out his first at bat. Now faces Honeycutt. 2-0. The Reds lead it. Ball hit hard right back at the shortstop. Anderson flipped to Sachs, over to Stubbs, and double play. So Honeycutt and the Dodgers out of the inning. No damage, a base hit, nobody left. So we go to the bottom of the fourth. The Reds up by 2. Two to nothing. The Reds lead it. And for the Los Angeles Dodgers, it'll be Guerrero, Marshall, and Stubbs. Middle of the lineup for the Dodgers. Pedro 0 for 1 on the evening. A fly ball to Tracy Jones in right field. And Ted Power has given up 2 hits up to this point. 1 strikeout, 1 walk, and he gets a slider out over the middle of the plate. A dangerous place, I would say.
You checked Tracy's new haircut?
No, he got a new haircut? Boss?
Oh, yes. Not modified.
This ball hit high in the air at center field. Eric Davis with a slap of the glove on that thigh, and the easy play for that. I have not seen the haircut.
It's modified. He has it covered. The cap just fits right where it's designed.
Right where his
hair is designed. The design of Bosworth.
Well, he's out in California. I mean, he's out in his hometown. Probably went to see just his local barber.
Right.
You know. Remember Howard? Was it Howard that was the barber?
Yeah.
Andy Mayberry. A lot of room. Diaz may run out of it, and he does. A lot of distance between home plate and the screen back here. And in fact, there you see the difference. And Dave Parker attempting to get in there as well. He starts chasing fly balls. I guess that's his natural nature of playing in the outfield. What was the barber's name in Andy and Mayberry? I should know that.
Howard? Howard.
No, Howard wasn't it.
What? Barber.
Barber of Seville? No, I don't think
Barbara
that was
Howard.
Barbara Howard.
Floyd.
Yeah, Floyd. He probably has a local barber like Floyd, and he probably just went to see him. Oh, good hitting by Mike Marshall. A slider down and away. And hit into right field. Base hit for Mike Marshall. And the Dodgers have the tying run at home. It's a little early to be talking about that, but Franklin Stubbs. And for Mike Marshall, 11-game hitting streak. And has he been hot? He was 17 for 37 coming into this game. Now 18 for 39. And that's well over 400. And that's why he is. He has changed his style, as Marty said a little bit earlier. Thinking about the home runs and attempting to make good contact. And you see Manny Mota telling him that there's 1 out in the inning. So Stubbs stands in. He flied to right in his only time at bat in the 2nd inning. And there's one of those balls being thrown out as Ted Power bounces in the dirt, and a good stop by Bo Diaz. Dodger fans, after seeing the Dodgers beat the Braves 3 in a row, all 1-run games. And now the count goes to 2-0 as Power with a good breaking pitch on the outside part of the plate just misses. Stubbs 11 home runs, 35 RBIs. Very streaky type of hitter, needless to say, throughout the last 2 years. Has a tendency to hit home runs in spurts. A lot of that has to do with some of the hamstring problems that he's had.
This will place Lasorda. He likes to hit and run in this situation a lot.
Well, you know he's going to get something to hit up over the plate. Marshall not going, and he swings through a high pitch, and the count's 2-1. So Ted Power trying to get Stubbs here. His big hole at first base as you see Parker holding Marshall on and out of sync again. 3 balls and a strike. Should Stubbs get on there? Well, you see Mike Scioscia standing on deck. And it seems no matter what, every time you come out here, there's a low-run ball game, Joe.
Well, it's particularly at night. The ball doesn't carry that well at night. The grass is usually high and a little moisture on it. So for some reason, and that's been like that since the stadium opened.
High fastball. He got him chasing it. He popped it up. Davey waiting for it as Ted Power hollers is his name, and everybody else backs up. And while we have time, we'd like to say hello to some of our friends in Nashville, Tennessee. WCAY-TV, the general manager down there, John Walser. Program director is Christine Bailey, and sales manager, well, is Deborah Dunn. Well, thank you for watching good old Nashville, Tennessee, down there with our sounds, and some of the owners down there with Richard Sturban. We saw him down there during the exhibition game. Conway Twitty, Cal Smith, and many others. Bo's gone out to talk to Ted, and I'm sure he's telling him he's going to have to get the ball down in the strike zone. And there you see an unhappy Tommy Lasorda who didn't like the fact that Stubbs swung at that high pitch and then popped it up as well. Boy, he gets out of sync a little bit, Joe. You can see how he finishes up, whether he's in sync or not.
He forces, Ted will tell you, one of the things he has to really fight against is trying to force the ball. In other words, overthrowing it.
Scioscia choked up on the bat a little bit with 3 home runs. Not really a power man, and looks at a slider for a strike. A ball and a strike, 2 outs. And you see him up just on that bat a little bit. He's mostly just a stroke hitter. You see him bending over at the waist. And we see the same finish as we talked about 2 pitches before that.
Well, he is concentrating on keeping the ball down and really is trying to force it there rather than throw it there. And that sounds kind of strange, but that's what will happen generally with a pitcher. He'll try to force something instead of relaxing and letting it go.
There goes Marshall. And a check swing and into the Dodgers dugout. And Dave Parker being told to play behind Mike Marshall with only a 2-ball and 1-strike count. Now that really puzzles me. You see Parker. Joe, let's take a quick look at Ted and see what we can see.
Now this is a pretty good motion right now. Watch him drive forward and pull that glove back. Now see, one of the things about Teddy, he lands on his heel a lot. And that could cause you to get out of sync.
It really would, wouldn't it? You'd almost jar yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
It blocks you out.
That's overstriding?
Well, right there, I think we're going to have maybe a sinking fastball or a curve. We'll see.
Well, it's a fastball and a hit out towards the gap. Jones would be able to cut it off. He'll hold Scioscia to a single, but Mike Marshall will wind up at third base. And with 2 out in the inning, the Dodgers have a threat. As back-to-back, well, not back-to-back hits. We got Stubbs on the pop-up. 2 hits in the inning put the Dodgers in a position for Jeff Hamilton to come to the plate to try to close in on the Reds' lead. They're at 2-0 right now. There you see Hamilton, who already has a base hit tonight.
Oh, and Buddy Bell talking with Ted Powers, you can see, and certainly it has to do with Hamilton and the on-deck hitter, which is pitcher Rick Honeycutt.
Joey Malfitano, along with Mike Marshall. There's Mike Scioscia. And I would think if you're not going to hold somebody on, you wouldn't hold Mike Scioscia on. Needless to say, they are, and Jeff Hamilton stands in at batting at 214. Hit the first pitch, a high fastball, and it would behoove Mr. Power to work this man away, and he does. Good fastball on the outside corner. Hamilton with no home runs, no RBIs at this point, and it would be nice to keep him at that level. And that's exactly what Ted Power will try to do, working away with a breaking ball, but he throws a fastball. Another good fastball, identical, and a lot better movement on those pitches and a lot better under control.
No, it's so minute, really, when you think about it. It's just a mere fact of, as I said, throwing the baseball and being relaxed. The minute you try to overthrow it, and instead of throwing at 93 and trying to throw at 98, then things happen. Ball straightens out, your delivery gets all messed up.
He swung.
Howdy.
Call strike 3 by John McSherry. The high fastball away, and that won't please Lasorda either. So the Dodgers strand 2. We go into the 5th inning holding a 2-0 lead. From Dodger Stadium, the top of the 5th inning, the Reds with a 2-0 lead, and we want to tell you about some special features that the Reds have in 1987. They have lots of Super X Senior Citizen specials, and there's one coming up on Monday, July the 6th, against the Phillies at 7:35. Veteran Reds fans 65 years old and over, they buy either box or reserve seat tickets at half price in advance of game day, thanks to Super X drugstores. Now, what you want to do is you want to go in somewhere before the 6th. That's the 5th or the 4th or 3rd, all along those areas, and pick up those tickets at half price. Make plans now to see all the upcoming Super X Senior Citizen specials, including Monday, July the 6th against the Phillies at 7:35.
I don't know if you can pick it up or you can't pick it up there, but it's just one little line. It's about
Mohawk
high. It's the top of his ear.
Is it a cut? A cut back through there?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
very definite.
All right. Well, that's California style. That's where he grew up here. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, Rick Honeycutt still on the mound. He's given up 4 hits. Each team has an error. And the Reds with a leadoff home run. Well, not a leadoff. Cal Daniels led off. Tracy. Now with the switch of both of them in the lineup, Tracy Jones batting second. Launched one into left center field. Put the Reds on the scoreboard, and then an error committed by Jeff Hamilton allowed Eric Davis to get to second base, and then Buddy Bell drove him with a single. Here's Davey, and he looks at a breaking ball, a curve, bluffs a bunt. Not going anywhere with that. Davey had a chance to be on first with a base hit, and a call not to the Reds' liking, and to Davies as well, but Davey did not get out of the box. Thought that ball was tagged for right field, and he didn't have to run, but as it turned out, he lost a base hit. So Davey with a ball and a strike against him. Faces Honeycutt, and a ball grounded back towards Sachs. On the hop, juggles a little, and then has time to throw him out. Steve Sachs finished only 2/1000th of a point, I guess you could say, at 2/100ths of a point. Hitting .332 last year. He finished behind Tim Raines' .334 and overcome a lot of problems, especially throwing-wise. It was really one of the best bright spots, if not the only bright spot for a while in the Dodgers' order last year. Ted Power totally overmatched with the curveballs by Rick Honeycutt, and Rick's going to start him off with a slider, and Larry Poncino is asked, did he swing, and his answer is no. 0-67, and Ted was laughing the way he was swinging at that curveball the last time, and for some reason has a pretty decent hack in batting practice. Maybe it's because they're throwing it straight down the middle, Joe.
That's probably as nice a reason as you can come up with.
So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Honeycutt looking for his 4th strikeout. There's a breaking ball inside. Ted, good control to lay off of that breaking ball. And I'll just guess that this is going to be another breaking ball. And it'll be another strikeout. 2 quick outs in the inning here in the top of the 5th inning. And with that, Reds start over in their lineup again tonight. Cal Daniels 0 for 2. Check swing was caught. His little looper was caught by Jeff Hamilton between short and third, and then he grounded to Sachs in the 3rd inning. So here in the 5th, he bats for his 3rd time in the evening. And not too often we see Cal go many games without a hit. And this is a real test to go left against Honeycutt with that big breaking ball. And he got a hanger, but he takes it for a strike. Fastball inside. The Dodgers' nickname, how did they get it? Well, in 1889, they were known as the Trolley Dodgers because there were so many trolleys and so much tracks that people called them the Trolley Dodgers. And then it was shortened in 1890 just to the Dodgers, and it has hung on. Big breaking curveball swung through by Cal Daniels. And 1 ball and 2 strikes. National League batting leaders. Well, Tim Raines finally has enough at bats. We haven't seen him up there because he needed 3.1 at bats per game played. So at 71, he'd need about 210. But now he's finally qualified. And there you can see he once again top of the league. And under him, Tony Gwynn at 369. They battled it right down. He, Raines, and Sachs last year. And here's a ground ball hit to the left of Sachs, a diving Sachs, and it's into right field. Should be a base hit. Ball really took off, had a lot of overspin.
Talking about the hitting leaders, Tracy is getting very close to entering into the race. Tracy Jones. Here's a look at Cal's swing, and it looked like a fastball down and in, and Sachs makes a pretty good effort here, but just off the end of his glove and on into right field, and Sachs, well, you can't do it, Steve. The ground won't give now. Not with your hand.
Tracy now with 1 hit in his 2 at-bats, that being a home run at 341. And Cal Daniels. Obviously, we know that Cal Daniels is a threat still, and Rick Honeycutt knows that as well. For stolen bases, Daniels has 16. Earlier, Eric Davis got his 30, and Jones is in 2nd place on the team. He has 17, and Honeycutt gives him another look. Well, bubblegum, the order of the evening, as we see both pitchers tonight really working hard on that gum. And you would imagine that with a 2-0 ball game.
I think we'll see a pitch out right here. Let's see.
I'm going to throw over there one more time just to make sure. I wouldn't be surprised at a pitch out either, Joe. Daniels with 16 out of 21 attempts. There you see Tracy. Honeycutt picked him up. Easy throw by Stubbs and a head-first slide to no avail. Well, they finally threw over there long enough, so Mark Allen caught stealing for Cal Daniels. That'll get him out of the inning. And Tracy Jones will have to come back and bat in the 6th. So we go to the bottom of the 5th with the Reds holding a 2-0 lead. Rick Honeycutt. Reds lead at 2-0. We told you about the Senior Citizen Special. Well, we're going to tell you about Sunday, July the 5th, when the Reds continue their big weekend series with their Mets. And we have a great special date for all you young Reds fans. It's Borden's Drinking Mug Day. on the first 15,000 fans 16 and under will receive a free drinking mug. That's right, it's a 12-ounce mug. This handy red and white mug will be a super item all year long. It's a great way to cap off your holiday weekend. The Reds and Mets at 2:15 and Drinking Mug Day thanks to Borden Dairy. Show that mug one more time. Where's that mug? Bring that mug back. I didn't see it good enough. I was reading. I want to see that. Well, good-looking mug, though. And for all you youngsters, get out and get it. Rick Honeycutt 0 for 1. Even on the count at a ball and a strike. His power works here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And real out of sync. Well, Honeycutt picked off Cal Daniels to end the inning. And let's have a look at that one again.
There's really no contest, but the thing about it is Cal took off. He kept running, and it took a good throw. Had there been the throw been wide either side, Cal had an excellent chance of getting
we've seen that a lot. So it's 1-3-4 on the putout if you're scoring along with us. Steve Sachs took that throw, and he was shaded over towards second base. Anderson in the hole. That's why he took that. And foul back, and count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dave Anderson on deck, the leadoff hitter for the Dodgers. Well, a big crowd on hand tonight, trying to see their Dodgers, seeing if they can win 4 in a row here on this homestand. And Anderson hoping that Rick Honeycutt will get something started. And Ted, well, he challenged Pedro Guerrero, and then he throws a 2-2 slider to Rick Honeycutt. Overhead, the Goodyear blimp, and they're flashing out the colors. This ball hit hard in the alley. Could be in there for extra bases. It's going to go to the wall. Jones up with it, and I guess that's the reason that he didn't want to challenge him too much, because he got the fastball right out over the heart of the plate. And Rick Honeycutt with his 5th hit of his season.
His first extra base hit of the year, and here's a look at the pitch. There it is, right down the pipe, and Honeycutt hit it hard into right center, and Tracy plays it well off the wall, as you'll see. You see Honeycutt running there, but Tracy raced up early and took the ball on the rebound off the wall, and got a good throw into Davey and the cutoff man.
So with nobody out, Dave Anderson stands in, and Parker and Bell both in very closely, and I would imagine they're going to try to swing the bat and get him over. He cannot do it. Little off-speed pitch, and got him out front and pulled the ball. And I always thought as a catcher that you would like to throw an off-speed pitch and get him to pull that ball on the left side of the infield, but I don't imagine that will please Mr. Lasorda either.
Absolutely not, and really different individuals are good at handling anything when they make up their mind to hit the ball to right field. I think Buddy and Bo are probably as good as anyone in the league, regardless of what is thrown. They're most times able to get the ball to the right side to move that runner up.
Well, here's Sachs. Now with still a man in scoring position, Honeycutt, who's not even bothering to take his jacket, and there's a man talking to himself. That's a one-sided conversation with a narrow-minded wall right there. Oh, yeah. Ball hit back to Power. He's got him. No, he decides not to. He got in between. Oh, I'll tell you. I think that covered it. That just exactly covered it right there.
I can't figure out whether he's agreeing with him. He's shaking his head yes. Well, here's another look at it. Ted, a good play. That's kind of a tough play. He looks at Honeycutt and might have taken just a little too much line, and really throws off balance to Parker, and Dave drops the ball, picks it up, and then gets his foot back on the bag. And shoot.
Well, he had Honeycutt at second if he throws it back there, but he was wanting to make sure he decoyed him and got him back there. Took the sure out, although it certainly didn't work out there. Shelby stands in. He's 0 for 2, hit into a double play his last time, and if you're scoring goes 8-4-3.
Robbie, he'll crank it up tomorrow night.
Now, there's a true creature. He's down there keeping short. Hey, how you doing, Rob? Yeah, look up here and smile. Camera hog, that's you. I hear you.
Beautiful thing, you.
Oh, he just missed outside, and the count goes 1 ball on a strike.
See, now, Robbie, he's not keeping the chart. What's going on?
Oh, he is.
Oh,
Are you keeping the chart?
Look at the smile on his face. He loves it. He'd rather do that than pitch.
Well, we'll talk nice about him tonight. Ball grounded right back to Power. Got it. Easy out. Well, it didn't turn out to look like that. The Dodgers strand one. Rick Honeycutt at second base. They get a hit. That's the only one of the inning. And Power's going to smile about it, too. He's not. The Reds lead it 2-0. We're going to the 6th. Reds lead it 2-0, top of the 6th inning. And, well, for the Reds, it'll be Tracy Jones. He'll be back at the plate again. And as Tracy waits on deck, there you see the beautiful crowd. Why don't we pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the Cincinnati Reds television network. Philadelphia, 1987. How about that? Goodyear blimp. Put on a show for the folks here in Los Angeles, as we're here for the first of the 3-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll be here at 7:05 Pacific Coast time. It'll be 7 o'clock tomorrow night Pacific Coast time. The game starts at 7:05. We'll be on the air at 7, and then I guess it's a 1 o'clock start on Sunday.
105.
105. So we'll be here on the Cincinnati Reds television network to bring that to you.
405 at home, though.
4:05.
Don't turn it in at 105 because you'll miss a whole lot of the game.
That's true. That's true. Honeycutt works into the 6th inning. He's down 2-0 and works to the man who put the Reds in front 1-0. And there's a breaking ball outside corner. Big breaking ball that he's been able to pick up the outside corner and get that call most of the night. Crazy just missed one, hitting one hard again. He hit it hard, but hit it straight up in the air into left field in the 3rd inning. And with that little check swing, he kicks a little dirt, and John McSherry's going to clean it off. McSherry, National League umpire for 16 years.
Had a kick out of John in Atlanta Sunday afternoon.
Working behind the plate. There's a good breaking ball down, and he chased it. Well, that helmet's on. We're gonna have to steal a peek of Tracy's new haircut. Some way tonight we'll do that. Hopefully it'll be as he tips his hat coming around home plate again. 9 home runs on the year. And speaking of 9, that's exactly what the Tigers did to the Orioles tonight when they beat them 9-0. Ground ball to Hamilton takes care of Tracy Jones. Mariners beat the Royals 5-1 this afternoon. And
come on, Trace, take the helmet off, pal. Trying to.
I know a lot of people around the country are really as concerned about this as we are.
No, there it goes. Now, there it is. See it?
That's just a little slide.
Yeah, it's nothing big.
That's all right.
See there, right there it is.
Oh, that's easy. That's all right. Oh, thought we had Jose Hebert. Huh? Is that his name, Jose Hebert? That great stylist and everything. That barber out here does all the. Probably went to there in Rodeo Drive. He was probably down there today. Here's Eric. Standing in, and he had a line shot right by Rick Honeycutt's chest his last time up. He was on via the throwing error by Jeff Hamilton. And now Eric has his average up to 320, and just not too long ago it's 300, and it takes a lot of 3-for-4s to get it back up. There's a ground ball chopper to Anderson. He'll have to back up. Now have to hurry. Barely got him.
Here's a look at Dave Anderson fielding the ball, backing off, and you see him kind of double pump and now throw. And I tell you, it's a very close play. Let's see if we can see. Now they get him by about a foot.
Tell me he don't play hard. Here's Dave Parker, 0-for-2 on the evening. There you see Dave Anderson, the shortstop of the moment for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mariano Duncan has been there, and now Dave Anderson has taken over, and the ball hit hard, foul. Just outside the first base line. And see the ball boy going down here. So Parker behind in the count. 0 balls and 1 strike.
The talk of the lively ball this year, someone has to hit one completely out of Dodger Stadium once again.
Well, that was Williver Stargell. I think he was the last one that did it.
Someone has to do it this year.
Well, I don't know. The lively ball doesn't seem to be lively in this stadium.
There's a lively one right
I don't
there.
think it's going to get out of here, though, Joe.
It didn't?
It did not get over the roof.
Oh.
This ought to please.
Well, he'll have something to say. Tom not too happy, as you can see, but Dave Parker is, and the Reds bench is definitely happy. And David with a PR shot.
Yeah, that's what Marty was talking about, those PR shots. That's the ones you can sit and admire.
That's right. You sit back and watch.
And Dave Parker, this bud's for you. Let's take a look at this one, Joe.
Here it is. He gets everything into it. Watch. Just, oh, boy. Beautiful swing there.
Look at him. That's PR.
Hello.
18th home run of the season for David. Hadn't lost any power moving into first base. I'll say that for him. 52nd RBI. And Ron Robinson saying down there, if I could just get a couple like that, huh? Shut him out like that tomorrow, Ronnie. We'll get you a couple of runs. So with 2 outs in the inning, Honeycutt gives up his 2nd home run of the game, and the Reds lead it 3-0. And Buddy Bell has the other RBI in the evening. He's 2 for 2. Ball into left field, drove in Eric Davis, and then a base hit in the 3rd. 4th make that, leading off the 4th, but he was forced.
Honeycutt, that's home runs number 4 and 5 on the year, and he's pitched now, what, a total of
he's in the 70s somewhere.
78 innings.
73 innings opening it up, so 78 and a third, 78 and 2/3 innings.
Bob Welsh leads their club. He's served up 13 in 15 starts.
Who's our long ball threat?
Mr.
For our
Gullickson.
pitching staff. Mr. Gullickson gave up 5, so he's given up 21 dingers. Wow. And Ted Power has given up 13. So the Reds have given up 83 home runs, and opponents have given up 99 home runs. Think that adds up? Reds with 99 home runs on the season. And Honeycutt pitches the Bell away outside. Ball 4, he walked it. First base on balls in the evening given up by Rick Honeycutt. And nowhere in sight is anybody really warming up in the bullpen, and that look is for John McSherry. And I imagine Tom Lasorda is really questioning his ability to call balls and strikes at this point. Honeycutt at one point in the American League was accused and charged with, I guess they proved that he was using a thumbtack to scuff the ball up. Won the ERA title over there and never finished the year. He was traded over to the Dodgers, but he had enough inning. Base hit into left field for Bo. And just like that, 2 quick base runners for the Reds and 3 hits in a row, and that may get somebody up out there in the Dodger bullpen.
That's Brian Holton, the right-hander, throwing.
Yeah, that's the picture we put up for Rick Honeycutt, folks, every night. We did that in Cincinnati. And now we put it up. Now you get a good close shot of the guy. I guess we knew who he was pitching tonight. I guess they knew he might be warming up tonight, so they showed an early shot of it. That is Rick Honeycutt. Honeycutt has given up 7 hits and allowed 3 runs. Dodgers no runs on 5 hits as They threaten again here in the top of the 6th inning with a run already in on Dave Parker's 18th home run. Bell at second leads with Diaz at first base. And Kurt waits on a breaking ball outside and looks like on the outside corner. Kurt 0 for 2, hit into a double play, 6-4-3, and has struck out tonight. Tommy got thrown out of the game last night. That was his first of the season. They arguing a call with, yes, Davis was the umpire last night at first base. There's a force out at second base, and that'll do it for the Reds. So Stillwell makes himself 0 for 3. The Reds get 2 hits in the inning. They get the run on Dave Parker's 18th, and they increase their lead to 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Reds lead at 3-0 here in Dodger Stadium as Pedro Guerrero leads off the bottom of the 6th for the Dodgers. Swings at the first pitch, hit well into center field. It will be an easy out. Once you see Eric Davis start to lope and coast and start flapping that glove on his thigh, you can forget it. It's pretty well in the park, and this wall is just the right height for Eric.
There's Robbie, the favorite job of a starting pitcher. I'm telling you, they enjoy that so much. Watch the smile on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you really like that kind of? You like to score games?
Yeah. You raise your right hand.
You get a little help from Nick down there. Told him to raise his right hand. He raises his left. I'll tell you what.
That's official then.
That's official. Marshall 1 for 2 on the evening. Fouled one off of Bo Diaz, and Bo took the beating. Been blocking balls in the dirt all night. Now he takes one, looked like right off the arm. Marshall took a slider into right field his last time up. A good bit of hitting. And he's really been on a tear of late. Talked about him, 19 for 39. 18 for 39, excuse me, and his average at .313 with that base hit. Power works high with a fastball, and the count is 1-1. Reds came in this afternoon from San Francisco, stayed over up there last night. Not too many flights out of there at that hour. And Joe, you gave me last time you left. As I talked to you at the hotel, you already had your lineup of where you were going and what you were doing as far as, I mean, you know the restaurants, you know everything. You got your whole trip lined out, didn't you?
Yeah. A little golf. Eating's big up there, of course. I mean, you know, got to stay healthy.
Popped up. Long run for all three of them. Cal Daniels now calling it, and he'll take it. We want to say hello to our friends at WKCH-TV. That's in Knoxville, Tennessee. And Art Lanham, we know who you are. You're the general manager. Susan Newman, you're the sales manager, and the program manager there is Brenda Shires. We want to say hello to all our friends in Tennessee. We said to Nashville. Now we're at Knoxville. Good following down through there. And a lot of good friends throughout there for me. And, of course, I'm a big country music fan. So
the great Gar's probably sitting there in his...
Isn't he? Right there watching WKCH.
Feed
the
up.
boys, you think the boys are where?
Jack.
No, the boys wouldn't do that on Friday night.
I don't think so.
This should do it. At Cal Smith, and Franklin Stubbs becomes a third out of the inning, and a 1-2-3 inning. It's easy for Ted Power. 3 up, 3 down, and the Reds lead 3-0, and we go to a 7th inning stretch. Reds shutting out the Dodgers so far in the top of the 7th inning, and Rick Honeycutt stays on the mound for the Dodgers. He's given up 7 hits and all 3 runs, so all of them earned. Well, no, they're not either, as a matter of fact. There's something, Joe, that you're very familiar with.
There's a look at the old chart, and that's been in existence for many moons. It used to be our favorite time when we were playing to be the starter the next night and have to keep it. And you can see the number of pitches Ted has made, how many pitches to each hitter, and so on down the line.
There you see Carol Rose, I believe. Well, no, that's not Carol right there. Where is Carol in the middle? Oh, that's Carol's sister right there, and that's Karen. Karen's a lady that lives in Cincinnati, or lived in Cincinnati for a long time now out here, and it really has become a resident out here since she met Rick Monday. And Raquel Ruby, probably watching tonight, just saw Karen, and she'll call her tonight and tell her hello. Ted Power 0 for 2, a strikeout victim twice, both times up. Will follow Dave Concepcion as Davey 0 for 2 also. Both ground outs to second base, stands in, and Honeycutt works and gets this ball back up the middle. Should be an easy play for Anderson as he throws to Stubbs, and quick out for Honeycutt. Yeah, Carroll will be out there on Rodeo Drive tonight. Not tonight. She's already been out there this afternoon. Just window shopping, I'm sure.
Well, we got two individuals throwing down in the Dodger bullpen. It might be Young, the lefty, and Holton might be up again. It's kind of hard to see from here. That's who it is. Brad Havens, the lefty, and Brian Holton, the right-hander, throwing. So this, in all probability, last inning for Rick Honeycutt.
Yeah, Honeycutt coming up third in the order in the 7th inning. Should he get out of this inning, and Ted Power right now not able to solve any
of the deliveries. Honeycutt's giving Power a lot of respect, throwing him curveballs. I mean, after all, the bases are empty and one out.
Oh, don't tell me you wouldn't throw a pitcher a curveball.
Never.
You want to get out of there as quick as you can.
Yeah, but look, this is a little Scroogey, sinker, whatever.
Padres beat the Braves 5-1, and the Astros are leading the Giants 6-2. That's up in Candlestick Park there in the 7th inning. How about those Padres? Boy, if they had the split season this year, they'd really be in good shape.
Now, see, it's 2-2, and he throws him a curveball.
3-2. He's waiting for the pitcher to swing at him. Well, I'm not sure about that.
Respect.
Well, Honeycutt hit a fastball that Ted threw to him, and now he has to throw the fastball, and Ted with a pretty good cut, and finally a loud foul, at least to make him breathe a little easier.
You know, I always felt it would make an interesting tape as fans chasing foul balls. I mean, to tell you, there's some sights. Unbelievable. Just earlier in the game, a guy down here knocked over 5 guys. These look like bowling pins separating. He got the ball, too.
White Sox lost to the Angels. We talked about Jerry Royce winning his second game. The Brewers beat the Blue Jays 10-5, and the Rangers shutting out the first place Twin 1-0. Boy, that's not easy to do. Strike 3 on a high pitch, and Ted Power couldn't believe it. Third strikeout in a row for Teddy, and that's the 5th overall for Rick Honeycutt. And Cal Daniels. 1 for 3 on the evening, a base hit in the 5th inning, and was picked off by Honeycutt, and became the 3rd out of the inning as Franklin Stubbs took the throw from Honeycutt and fired to Steve Sachs to nail Cal. So last inning for Honeycutt. This is a hard ground ball right at Anderson. Anderson up over to Stubbs easily, and a 1-2-3 inning again for the pitchers in the 7th. And so the Reds go quietly, and there will be Scioscia, Hamilton, and a pinch hitter as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. We lead 3-0.
That's all right.
Reds lead at 3-0 here. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Mike Scioscia looks at the ball high, and now Power back quickly and evens the count with a fastball for a 1-1 count. 42,614 on hand here at Dodger Stadium to see the Reds, and several people around the stadium really wearing red with pennants, and some good fans out here. Of course, a lot of our players from this area, and here's a lady who seems to just about clap for everything. How you doing, darling? Ball hit down the left field line. Bending foul. And bounces into the stadium. 330, and it's a 330 that starts to curve out. The fence, what would you say, Joe? 3 feet high out there? 3.5 feet?
Approximately 3 to maybe 4, but...
and then It goes right at the bullpen edge and goes to 360, 370, 385, 395, and I guess it's probably 395 straightaway center, although there's no signs out there.
Supposed to be 400 right on the button.
It's supposed to be 400. All right, fastball high and away.
But I don't think there's a ballpark in baseball that has their outfield distances identified more than Dodger Stadium.
Absolutely. You know something I just noticed, Joe? They painted the foul poles, and I've been complaining about the foul poles for years. Being silver was quite a glare. Ground ball, tough chance for Dave. He got it. And a quick throw over to Dave Parker and Socha, the first out of the inning here in the 7th. You know, in the day games especially, Joe, I talked about the foul pole. That's yellow. I should have said the center field flag poles, guys. I'm sorry. You're taking the right picture. I just don't have the right words to describe where I'm looking. They're blue foul poles now in the flag poles there.
Now, there they are.
They used to be silver, and in the daytime, the pitcher threw right out of those flag poles. And I could not believe that something in this park was not Dodger blue, and now they've accommodated.
You guys always got an excuse.
We have to have, Joe. You scuffed the ball up. You were one of the first ones to scuff the ball up anyway.
Guys gets you out there, and the sun shining on the wrong seat.
You guys, you sandpaper and scuff the ball.
Give us guys some credit. Let's go.
That's why I'm giving you credit. That's why you better paint those flagpoles out there. I got a tough enough time.
There's probably a couple of old catchers.
Danny Heap moves on deck, leaping. Dave Concepcion cannot get it, and Jeff Hamilton, his second hit of the evening. And fortunately, it was sandwiched around a strikeout because that was when 2 men were on base, and Hamilton was a strikeout victim.
Here's a look at Anderson. He hit the ball, looked like it on the good part of the bat, and Davey just missed making that a great effort by Concepcion. And he can leap. He gets off his feet and he smacks his gun. Oh, that was almost a good play.
Boy, we have seen him leap over the years so many times, Joe. I can't tell you of any shortstop in baseball that's made as many jumps and come down with the ball as Dave Concepcion. And there you saw the leaping ability again. He jumped just as hard. He didn't get as high as he did in his younger time. And now there you see Oral Hershiser and who is that? Rick Honeycutt there to the right. I guess that's their type of rally, or it's their satches from the Bowery boys. Little commotion out in the bullpen now as Frank Williams starts to warm up. At least we can see him, and Scotty Breeden has gone out to spend a little bit of time.
Uh-oh. Something new. The hugging's over with. Now we turn up the hat bill.
No, he'll hug him if he gets a hit or a home run.
He'd also say some unkind things about you, too. Got Frank Williams throwing down to the bullpen.
And Danny Heap, who had been out on deck, now sits down. I think that's Bryant. Yeah, that's Mr. Bryant's going to come to the plate. He'll bat in place of Rick Honeycutt. There you see him, number 46, and his name Ralph Bryant. Ralph, limited action, 21 games, but only 24 at bats, hitting .250.
He's 4 for 17 as a pinch hitter, John, with a home run and 4 RBIs. Not too bad.
Not bad at all. It covers his .250 average. Boy, he hit a couple in batting practice today that you wouldn't believe. Up there where Dave Parker was hitting, had hit his home run in this particular game. So Ted Power works here into the 7th inning, and with 1 out, and Jeff Hamilton aboard, he faces Ralph. Good off-speed breaking pitch down. Bryant chasing it, and quickly Ted goes ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and we got a little breeze up here in the booth, and Ted Power down there is sweating his way through this 7th inning.
They've changed in the Dodger bullpen. The pitchers, Ken Howe and Alejandro Pena, I believe, throwing.
Boy, he must have been looking for that slider because he got him with a fastball out over the plate, and a good pitch it was. So Ted Power now with his 3rd strikeout of the game.
There they are, Howe and Pena. Howe on the left and Pena on the right. 2 righties. So however it goes, I would imagine if the Dodgers don't score, we might see Pena. If they do, we'd see Howe.
I like that thought. Dave Anderson looks at a fastball for a strike, and Dave 0 for 3 on the evening.
But the way they're both throwing down there, we might see Holton.
Well, they got 4 guys loose. Ted trying to work away with that fastball, and he got it over the corner. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Now's the time to waste that pitch. Make it a good waste. Either a slider down and away, and thing you don't want to do is you don't want to try to get it too far out, but at the same time you don't want to take something off of it and hang out over the plate. He did it. He got it up over the plate and kicks the mound in disgust, and Tracy Cal Daniels comes in to pick it up, and well, nothing makes a pitcher more displeased than a 0-2 count, and doing exactly what we talked about was laying off of it and not giving it that good effort.
Here's a look at now. See Teddy, see how he falls off, and he really was he was too bent on making the good pitch and forced it rather than throwing it. And he'll be, again, as I say, you ask Ted about the pitch and he'll tell you exactly what we just discussed.
One thing about it, he is hot. I mean, he is honest. I don't have to doubt that. Ted Power will tell you when he messes up, and he'll tell you he did a good job. Good fastball away, and there's a strike. So Steve Sachs, represents a tie run at home plate. Steve 0 for 2. Only 1 base on balls in the game, and that for Ted Power, and that was given up to Steve. Foul back, another fastball. And he finds himself in that 0-2 count again. I would imagine, Joe, that he's made the one mistake just on the last hitter, and now he has to be thinking about it again, and Bo's going to go out and talk to him about it.
Sure. That's, 2-strike counts for a pitcher. They're tough with a hitter. If you got a pitcher out there that will make that not even a marginal pitch, I mean, it has to be, well, a curveball in the dirt, things of that nature, where there's no way the batter can handle it with any authority at all. And he's thrown him 2 fastballs away. I don't know what Bo might have in mind, but I wouldn't think another fastball anywhere near it. Might be a slider, starting it on the outside corner, and breaking it off the plate.
Well, that looked like what he was trying to do the last time. He has the other option of busting him inside with a fastball or going up and away with a fastball. He did it. Dave Parker will be able to field it. He's a good throw. Got him. All right. Well, the Dodgers threaten. They get a couple of hits in the inning, but Ted Power finds his way back out of it, and a good throw right here. See you. There you are. Lots of time. Oh, it's a lot easier than it looks. Reds lead 3-0. We go to the 8th. Bye, Joe.
Oh, Jesse liked that.
Yeah, you liked that, didn't you? You got a weak sense of humor. Nevertheless, Mary Jones will sing the national anthem. Great story. Spectacular story. We back.
Getting out for the Reds, right fielder.
There they are, the Reds leading 3-0, coming to bat in the 8th inning, and I got a hold going. I'm going to turn it over to my good reliever here, actually the starting pitcher for the evening. Marty, a good effort, and I know one thing. We've been trying to get Ted Power to get that shutout for a while and also finish the game up. It'd be nice if that could happen tonight.
Well, his only complete game in the big leagues has come against the Dodgers, and that was at Riverfront back in early June, and trying tonight. A hard thrower on now for Los Angeles and Kenny Howell, and first pitch hitting, he pops Tracy Jones up to Steve Sachs at second.
Center fielder.
There you see Ken Howell, 2-2 on the season, 4.55 ERA, and the amazing thing is that on the right, saves, 0. And that is not what they hoped would happen with this young man. The hard-throwing right-hander, they really kind of expected to be behind Niedenfuhr and back-to-back right-handers doing the job, and well, they've expected that from Young. They have not had good relieving in the last 2 or 3 years.
Eric Davis tonight, he's 1 for 3, a single, a stolen base back in the 3rd, scored in the 1st after reaching on an error. Johnny, I've got to wonder about Ken Howell, as hard as he throws, and given the lack of success that he has had, certainly he's been a disappointment for the Dodgers because he has the kind of stuff as a power pitcher to, you would think, be an outstanding and effective closing pitcher, but he has not been that way. Does his fastball lack the kind of movement that you would want to have an effective hard thrower like that?
Well, Marty, it's his breaking ball probably that has hurt him most. He has not got it over consistently, and he is not able to change speeds with it. When he has tried to, he gets the ball up in the strike zone. Because of his inconsistency, they sit on that fastball, and I don't care if you throw 95 miles an hour. If you don't have some movement and location, you've got nothing. And this guy, as you see, just sort of comes out and looks like a shot put almost that comes out. He doesn't have that great flip of the wrist that gets that movement. Now, he might try holding it with the seams, across the seams differently, and try to get a little more movement on that, because, see, he's just one of those guys that just rears back. Lee Smith is a perfect example of a guy who turned things around. He could throw hard, but then all of a sudden he's changed it just to get the movement within the hitting zone.
Now he's put Eric Davis on base. And here's Dave Parker, who had that long home run back in the 6th inning, and unofficially, Parker was the first left-handed batter to hit a home run off Rick Honeycutt since Terry Kennedy, then of the San Diego Padres, did it back in 1984.
Well, we were talking about hitting one out of the stadium with a livelier ball, and he hit it, and I said, I don't think that'll do it. Joe said, I think it's out of here. I said, I meant over the roof.
Put a panic move on.
Oh, I did. I know he thought I was going crazy. What's wrong with you?
And let's see if stolen base number 31 is in the cards here. The hits are even, 7 apiece. The errors are even, 1 each. But it's 3-0 in the 8th inning. And in the 8th at Candlestick, the Astros are in front of the Giants 6-3. So it would appear that the Reds are going to need a win here to maintain their 1.5 game lead over Houston. Padres, of course, beat the Atlanta Braves 5-1. Quick step off by Howell.
Quite a contrast in records when the Dodgers are leading or trailing after 7 innings. If they're leading, they are 24-1. When they trail after 6 innings, they are 5-26. It would make you think their bullpen's a little better than some people give it credit for. When you're leading and you're after 7 innings and you can hold them for the last 2 innings and only lose 1 ball game.
Now, leading after 7, the Reds are 33-2.
That ain't bad either.
No, that'll play. Davis is going, and he'll have to come back. Leading after 8 innings, the Reds are 34-1.
That's better.
Yeah.
That 1 game could have been very recently.
No, it wasn't yesterday.
Did we not ring that one up?
No, because this stat is when they have a lead going to the top half of the 9th inning.
Not that they've scored in the 9th.
Right.
What is that one, Marty?
I don't know. I ain't got that one. Thanks, John. I got all these numbers. My mind has been boggled with numbers. Strike 3 call. Parker's out, and he gives a little bit of it to John McSherry.
That's the same emphasis that Ted Power gave, and you know, when he straightens back up, it's a pretty good pitch. Yeah. Got it in a good place, and sometimes that's a blind spot for a hitter, and both right side and left side, sometimes they get it in that little circle and you lose just sight of it up and down. And when he stood back up, he said, I'm 6'6", and the ball is up 7'3".
Not this time. No play on at first as the Dodgers pitch out.
Don't bet they won't do it again.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. San Francisco, twice in that series, called back-to-back pitch outs. Two out here in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davis bluffed the go that time. Saw Scioscia come out of that crouch right now, and
well, that's the one thing about a catcher's, and I was talking to Paul Meyer in Pittsburgh today about what you look for. You look for quick feet and transition, getting the ball out of the glove, but getting your feet underneath you. And wait for the ball to come to you before you do that. You can make all the moves with your feet you want, but you've got to allow the ball to come to you as a catcher. You have to receive it right there where your arm length is and then transfer it, get it from the glove and take it with the hand, the bare hand, and bring it up into throwing position. This is a pitch out. How about the one in Yankee Stadium tonight?
How about that?
I bet you Wade Boggs might have got a hit. 12-11 in 10 innings. So the Yankees win it.
There he goes, and Johnny called it the pitch out, and it doesn't work. Number 31 for Eric Davis. And despite the fact that they pitched out, Davis had a huge jump on Ken Howell.
Well, that's one reason you pitch out on with certain pitchers is that you really wouldn't have a chance otherwise. And he got so far out that he got right on top of it. He stretched out and his arm came over the top, which means he was going straight down. He did not have that elbow tucked underneath. He got it up over and the wrist ahead of him and the head of that arm. And when you do that, you know you have all the time in the world and you start to aim it just like a pitcher does. We saw that with Ted Power when he tried to aim the slider there in the 7th inning and gave up the base hit to Hamilton. And
check Tommy out.
Well, I would love to have had a tape recorder of this evening's messages.
I've got some good ones.
No, I mean, just
run them around sometime. He has had some of the all-time great interviews in baseball history. Buddy Bell waves at the pitch down, 2-2. Tommy recently has become a restaurant owner. He's got a place out in Marina Del Rey.
I think the next time we come out here, Marty, Pete and Johnny's show, we're going to go down there.
Well, you should. I tell you one thing, you should go and eat free. As many restaurants as he's eaten free at in Cincinnati over the years. Turnabout's fair play, pal.
I don't think it's just Cincinnati, Marty. We heard a great story this afternoon.
That obviously started Tommy on his way back in the minor leagues. It is a classic story about when he used to take those bus rides back in the minors when he was working his way up to the big leagues as a manager. Bell walks. We were told by no less an authority than former Dodger Jay Johnstone that it was many the occasion when the Dodgers were taking a trip from their home city to another one that they would pull up at a restaurant and the trainer would go inside and he'd either come back after a while and say, okay guys, come on, we're going to eat here, or no, we're not, we're going to go somewhere else for whatever the reason. The place is getting ready to close or there are too many people or whatever. Come to find out that Tommy would instruct the trainer to go into the restaurant and confront the restaurant manager and say, I'm so-and-so, the trainer for whatever club it might have been, the Albuquerque Dukes. We've got a team of 22, 23 players out there on our ball club that want to eat. If you'll serve the trainer and the manager for free, we'll bring them in here to have dinner with you. And they'd either say yes, okay, whereupon the trainer would come out and say, okay, guys, you're going to eat here. They'd say no. He'd come out and say, we're going to go somewhere else. Jay Johnstone swears that's a true story. Pretty good bolt by Diaz. Shelby going back, still on the run. 3-run home run. Should just about do it. As Diaz drives one deep to left center field and check Tommy Lasorda out. The body language, and he's thinking bad things about Kenny Howell right now as Diaz pulls number 4. And Bo, this bud's for you.
Well, we talked about the wildness and the ineffectiveness when you get wild and you have to come in with a pitch. Ball upstairs, right about chest high, and he drove it. Second ball right out there in the same direction tonight. That's where Tracy Jones landed, and there's quite an exodus right now going on in Dodger Stadium.
Kurt Stillwell batting left-handed for the first time tonight, swings and fouls it back. That is the 100th home run that the Reds have hit this season. They are something around 89% increase over home runs at the same point in time last year.
Well, in about 15 minutes, we'll show you a picture of the parking lot because you will see a lot of red lights go on. Those will be tail lights that you'll see.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And take a look at what Johnny was talking. There you see the lights. They are heading out to the freeway and heading home. Up the middle, base hit. Kids have gotten in on the act tonight. There's Tommy chewing on somebody's ear. That's Ron Peronoski, the Dodger pitching coach. He'd just as soon be somewhere else at the moment.
Well, it's been a good pitching duel. It's the 12th time this year that the Reds have hit 3 homers or more in a game.
Well, we've seen Tracy Jones homer. We've seen Eric Davis get a hit, steal 2 bases, score 2 runs. Kurt Stillwell has had a knock.
And everybody has had a base hit except this man right here. There's Pete. Now he can breathe a little easier. Tommy Helms. I would bet if this pitch is over the plate, Davey will hit a base hit to right field. Hard throwing right-hander Hal. Davey likes to go the other way, and he'll just use the speed of Hal and try to stroke one and get off this 0 for 3 night.
Well, he's going to have to get off an 0 for 4 night now. The Reds get 3 runs. They collect 2 hits in the inning, no errors and 1 left, and well, they may well have blown it wide open. A 3-run home run by Diaz, and the lead is extended to 6-0.
Reds open it up here as we go to the bottom of the 8th, 6-0. And here's a great way to finish your 4th of July celebration. Baseball and fireworks. A lot of fireworks here tonight for the Reds. The Reds play the Mets at 7:05, followed by a great fireworks display 1/2 hour after the end of the game. It's an event for the whole family and a combination you won't want to miss. So come on down to the ballpark and celebrate with us. The Reds and the Mets are playing at 7:05, followed by holiday fireworks. And that's brought to you by WUBE and Cincinnati's Brewery.
I'll be there.
I'll be in Seattle. In Seattle.
The Homer Dome.
Yeah, I'm expecting some home runs there, too.
Here's a guy who hit a home run off Ted Power inside the park at Riverfront Stadium in the 9th inning. John Shelby, and this time he hits a rocket, but Concepcion is here to play it. 1 out. We'll pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Television Network.
You're watching the Indiana Sports Station, WTTV, Channel 4.
Ted Powers retired Shelby. Line drive second. Here's Pete Guerrero. We were told before the game tonight that he has a problem of late uppercutting the ball. And all 3 times tonight he's hit the ball in the air. The last time he sent Davis back to the edge of the warning track, leading off the 6th inning.
Yeah, 3:15. He's got a problem.
That one's hit pretty well, but Mr. Davis is there for the 2nd out.
4 fly balls, as Marty said. Right field and 3 now to Eric Davis in center field. Still means that Ted throwing pretty well here, and you can imagine he wants to do a 5-1 lifetime record against the Dodgers. And John Shelby with that home run cost him the shutout in Cincinnati in the 9th, and Ted just trying to hold on for another inning and a third and trying to preserve this game for him.
Mike Marshall has already extended his hitting streak to 11 games when he singled in the 4th inning to right field. He's 1 for 3. Davis on his horse at the wall. He got it. He has done it again. Like to see it one more time, but it looked like he went above the wall to pick it off, and if he did, it's the 4th time this year he's robbed a hitter of a home run.
I want to say, if with a base hit of 6-0, he might as well try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He takes the high fastball, and another good timing effort. I tell you what, that ball could have been out of here. The Reds lead at 6-0. We go into the 9th.
Well, we're in the top half of the 9th inning, and the Reds have maintained their shutout through 8 innings against the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's the score right now, 6-0. We saw Kenny Howell in the 8th inning, and we're seeing another one Here in the ninth inning, that's left-hander Brad Havens, the former Baltimore Oriole. And Danny Heap has gone in to play left field for the Dodgers.
Havens, it'll be his 10th game. He's been in 10 innings, given up 5 hits, but he's given up 4 runs. Danny Heap, this is only his 2nd game for the Dodgers. He appeared as a pinch hitter. The first time that he's been in the field, so they'll do the double switch here. And Brad Havens will come in to face Ted Power.
First time Havens has faced the Reds. Ball 1.
Got him right in the throat. That could have been saved by a chest protector or a throat protector, if that's what John McSherry has on.
That is a device that Steve Yeager invented, wasn't it?
Yes, it is.
Did you use that?
No, I didn't. I didn't use it, and neither does John McSherry, and that's who I was talking about. You see that thing dangling down, but there you see John McSherry. He wore that chest protector high enough that he didn't get too much of it. Take it easy, Teddy.
That's right. Don't overextend yourself, my man. 1 away, and we go back to the top of the batting order for Cal Daniels. Ken Howell works an inning, gives up 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Diaz took him deep with 2 on in the 8th. Daniels 1 for 4. He singled to right back in the 5th inning. Has grounded out twice and of course hit that soft line drive wide of third that Hamilton made such a dazzling play out in the 1st inning to begin the game.
Marty, that we talked about the throat protector, and we had a good view of it just a moment ago, and it is good for youngsters. Sometimes those chest protectors don't fit down. I wore one, and the first time I wore it, they had a foul tip and knocked it completely off. Knocked that leather loose. You can see it dangling down there. Sometimes it fits up higher, but it knocked the leather completely off and just knocked the throat guard back into my throat.
That was it, huh?
That was enough.
Yeah.
I didn't get hit that many times. As soon as I wore it, I got hit.
Danny Heap tested for the first time. 2 men out.
Now, Danny Heap, really, I've always liked him as a pinch hitter. He and Harry Spillman, to me, were a lot alike as far as being able to produce under pressure. And Danny has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and he's not a bad outfielder as well. Took over for George Foster for the Mets, and really, when George was not swinging the bat well, and he got a lot of playing time.
Tracy Jones back again. His home run in the 1st inning got the scoring underway, and he would pick up the game-winning RBI. He hit that ball pretty well. Marshall heading towards second. 2-base hit.
Tracy sometimes likes to watch and admire his work. We talked about the softness in front of the home plate, and there we see it. And now he watches Marshall chasing the ball, and they've got the same turf out there that they have in front of home plate.
That might make this week in baseball.
Well, you know, they had problems with that against the Braves when Marshall fell down at home plate when he swung at a pitch, and so did someone else. So they're trying to firm it up there, and you hear a chorus of boos as they're going to intentionally walk Eric Davis, and I think a lot of people came to see Eric Davis swing the bat. They're going to take it right out of his hand and go to Dave Parker. That's not much of an improvement.
No. Davis walks for the 2nd straight time. He's 1 for 3. That's in all likelihood where he will finish the night, but 2 runs scored, 2 stolen bases. And he now paves the way because of the great respect that the Dodgers and everybody else in this league have for his ability to hit the ball. He has given Parker a shot at adding to the 6-run lead. Dave 1 for 4, and that was a booming home run in the 6th inning, his 18th of the year.
Well, the 59 hits that Jones have, 23 of them are for extra bases.
23 for 59.
That ain't bad.
No.
Because Eric Davis, with his 66 hits, has 28 extra base hits. So they're right up there among.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. 28 extra base hits. He's had 23 home runs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
I'm looking
11
at
or 12 or 13 doubles.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at that 39.
Well, boy, they were really playing Parker to pull, and that's the only reason why that ball didn't get into right field, and Dave's upset. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, 2 left. We've got a half inning of baseball to go as the Reds bid to win the first of 3 in L.A. They're in front 6-0. We're back 6-0. There's the score. Ted Power needs to negotiate 3 more outs to pick up his first major league shutout. And the backdrop formed by all the lights emanating from all the vehicles leaving Dodger Stadium. Now, Reds have 3 complete games this season. If Power gets this one, it would be 4.
I think they've conceded it at the Chiron truck.
Let's hope. Stubbs a foul ball.
You know, another reason for Tommy's being upset tonight, I guess, would be the fact that it is Ted Power.
Well, I think Tommy has heard quite a lot of conversation about the Powers and the Francos and the Sutcliffes of the world ad infinitum. I think he's probably getting tired of hearing about it. And when one of that group comes back to Dodger Stadium or to Cincinnati or wherever and does a number on his ball club, it just adds insult to injury. Been a lot of conversation about some of the bad deals the Dodgers have made the last few years. And certainly, in light of the way Ted Power has performed for the Reds, that would qualify as one. Two and two. That might draw rain. Stillwell hangs with him. So Stubbs, another one who has hit the ball in the air 4 straight times. He's done it. Pete Guerrero has done it. It's been that kind of night. Socha 2 for 3. In fact, the 7, 8, and 9 spots in the batting order have accounted for 5 of the 7 Dodger hits. Power's lifetime record against the Dodgers, not 5-1, as we told you earlier tonight. Apparently a mistake was made on the note sheet. It is 6-1. This would be his 7th career win.
Getting a little anxious now. Just trying to spot the ball, aim it more or less.
Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that's a strike. Johnny, the Giants have drawn to within 1 run of Houston. 6-5 now in the bottom of the 8th.
Either or.
Yes, sir. And probably Dave Smith time for the Houston Astros. Nice play by Concepcion. They're 2 men out.
You said that 39-year-old guy can't move around. Come on, Davey. Give us a little bit of a grin, a little smile. There you see Parker headed to first base to see what happens, and boy, there's a good stretch. And he's saying, now, how am I going to get up?
Dodgers have been shut out 5 times this season, while the Reds pitching staff has authored 3 shutouts.
decided to throw him the slider. Hamilton has hit that fastball for his 2 base hits tonight in the 2nd and the 7th inning. Looking for the fastball on the first pitch and getting it, and try to change the strategy and go away with the slider again, and he works.
No balls, 2 strikes, and now Ted 1 strike away. At his first Major League complete game earlier this month against the Dodgers at Riverfront, and is an out away, a strike away from getting his first big league complete game shutout. Eric Davis will dot the exclamation point, and this one belongs to the Reds. Ted Power, you can imagine how he feels, because he would rather beat this club than anybody else in the National League, and never finer than he was here tonight as a dejected Tommy Lasorda heads toward the Dodger clubhouse. LA's 3-game winning streak has gone down the chute, and the Reds on this road trip now have won for the 6th time in 11 tries. 7-hitter for Power, 6-0 the final. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, game 1 of 3 here at Dodger Stadium is over. The Reds get great pitching tonight from Ted Powers. 7-hit shutout, his first such in the big leagues, as he beats the Dodgers for the 2nd time this year without... For Johnny Bench and Joe Nuxhall, this is Marty Brennaman saying so long, everybody. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Toyota, who offers a full line of 1987 cars and trucks. Who could ask for anything more? By Long John Silver Seafood Shops. Long John Silver sounds good to me. And by Delta Airlines, serving more than 150 cities worldwide. Delta gets you there with care.